the Edinburgh Zoo. It is here that the legendary corporal of the Polish army, Syrian Bear Wojtek, lived for 16 years, taken in by the soldiers of the 2nd Artillery Supply Company in the 2nd Polish Corps of General Anders's army. Wojtek the bear is one of the most famous animals in the history of the Polish army. Not only did he help to carry heavy cases of ammunition during the Battle of Monte Cassino, but he was also a great support and friend to the soldiers in the hard conditions of war.
But how did he end up in the army?
Spring of 1942, Anderson's army left the Soviet Union. The soldiers and around 25,000 civilians left for Iran. It's there, in April of 1942, at a train station of Hamadan, the Polish soldiers met an Iranian boy who carried a little cub. The animal's mother had most likely been shot by poachers. Among the civilian refugees was a young girl, Irena Inka-Bokiewicz, kin to General Bolesław Wieniawa-Długoszewski. She was delighted by the little cub and convinced the Lieutenant Anatol Tarnowiecki, who agreed to buy it for her. Apparently for a can of food and an army knife. The next 3 months the cub spent under the care of Inka in the refugee camp not far from Tehran. Later, in August of 1942, he joined the 22nd Artillery Supply Company. Then, along the Polish army of General Władysław Anders, he crossed the war zone, from Iran through Iraq, Syria, Palestine, Egypt to Italy, and after the demobilization to Great Britain.
What was the battle where did the bear carry the ammunition?
The Battle of Monte Cassino, also known as the Battle for Rome. Known for being the largest land battle in Europe during the Second World War between the Allied armies and the Germans. It took place in the Italian city of Cassino in the region of Monte Cassino Hill, on which stood the historic Benedictine monastery. During the Battle of Monte Cassino, Wojtek the Bear's company delivered loads of heavy cargo for the Polish and British armies. It was 17,300 tons of ammunition, 1,200 tons of fuel, and 1,100 tons of food.
Wow, that's so much! That must have been heavy.
Oh yes, but Wojtek was very strong. And that was when the symbol of the 22nd Company changed to a bear holding a bullet in his paws.
Really?
Yes, the symbol appeared on army vehicles, flags and uniforms.
What did the bear do when he wasn't fighting, Mum?
Wojtek really liked to play with the soldiers. Wrestling.
And they weren't scared of him?
No, Wojtek would never hurt anyone. To him it was just playing, and during the wrestling would always hide his clothes.
Did he do any other funny things?
Yes, he rode in the army trucks. Many statues were built of Corporal Wojtek, one of them being in Princes Street Gardens in the Scottish capital of Edinburgh, sculpted by the artist Alan Harriott, and the official unveiling took place on the 7th of November 2015.
Who's this man, Mum?
Oh, that soldier, Corporal Piotr Pendysz. He was one of the first of the Wojtek the Bear carriers.
Apparently, they lived in one tent, and whenever Corporal Piotr Pendysz had to leave, the bear would cry loudly.
That's exactly like Reksio.
Speaking of Reksio,
Did you know that in the army during the Second World War, heroic dogs also served?
Soldiers on four paws.
One even in Scotland, shepherd dog Smokey, known also as Smok, which is what the Poles called him. He was a parachuter dog.
Parachute dog?
He was a helpless puppy when he was found in the ruins of a bombed-out tenement house in the Paddington district of London in 1943. His rescuer was Dr. Władysław Moździerz, a Polish soldier from the medical battalion of the Polish Parachute Brigade.
Smokey really parachuted?
Seriously, Smokey had his own parachute and great beret, the same as everyone stationed in Scotland's first independent parachute brigade, founded by General Stanisława Sosabowskiego.
Where in Scotland?
Under 11 in 5. Today, it's the famous trail of General Sosabowski.
Zostały?
That's right. The main headquarters of the Polish parachuters was in the historic estate Largo House. Today, it's in ruins. Back then, it was a beautiful park in which they built a monkey roof.
What? Did they have real monkeys there?
No, that's what they call a really hard assault course made for special army training, which at its end had a 24-meter-high parachuting tower, the first in Britain, called the Polish Tower.
Did Smokey train there?
Most likely. Besides that, he played in the football team of the battalion and took part in roll calls and parades.
And what happened to him?
In September of 1944, the parachuter brigade, which took care of Smokey, got moved to Stamford, England, so they could take part in Market Garden, the biggest airborne operation which was led by the Allied armies during the Second World War. Because it took place in Holland, they unfortunately couldn't take Smokey with them, and his poor dog heart broke from the longing he felt.
Oh no, does Smokey have his own statue like Wojtek the bear?
He doesn't have a statue. However, in Stamford, England, you can find his tombstone with a porcelain portrait with a sign, "Dearest Dog, Smokey." Smokey was buried there with honors, in the garden that belonged to the school where the parachuters were stationed in 1944.
Actually, would also fly in a parachute.
Actually, he is so small that the wind would blow him away.
However, he would have no issue of climbing a ladder.
Like Ciapek from the 310th Squadron?
Ciapek? We learned about him recently in Polish school.
Yes, Ciapek, biggest dog star in Great Britain, mascot of the 305th Bomb Squadron of the Wielkopolska region, which in 1940 stationed at the Sarsten Airport. Ciapek had his own kennel.
Why did he climb a ladder?
To get on board the airplane along with the rest of the crew.
He flew on a plane? Yes, and not just any plane, a Wellington bomber.
You remembered a lot from your lessons.
Ciapek had a collar which said 305th Sarsten Squadron, to which they fastened 8 aero bomb badges, each as a reminder of every operation he took part in.
There was as many as 8?
Yes, they flew among others over Berlin, Bremen, Cologne, Munich. Ciapek had his own oxygen tank to help him breathe at the height of 3,000 meters.
That Ciapek was a true dog hero.
He knew a lot of tricks. The airmen taught him how to stand attention.
To attention, Rexo, to attention. No, not like that.
To attention goes like this.
And what happened to Ciapek?
He also died a hero, apparently during his 9th battle flight in Wellington plane named Matilda. The bomber got shot down, and the crew died in the depths of North Sea.
Oh no! The teacher said there was another version. The sea threw Ciapek out onto the beach of the town Cromer in Norfolk. He survived, and because he had his collar on, he was returned to the airmen stationed in the airport of Sarsten. Apparently, the chief mechanic prepared the 9th aerial bomb badge, which, with the applause of everyone present, the squadron commander, Robert Beale, fastened it to his collar. Later, Ciapek curled up into a ball in his kennel and fell asleep.
Animals like Wojtek, Smokey and Ciapek helped support and fight alongside the humans. These amazing soldiers were, however, before all else, devoted friends, carrying happiness and support for their carers, which was needed very much in such hard times as wars. In London's Hyde Park, you can find a huge statue which is in honor of all animals that served and died in the British, common nations and allied branches in all the armed conflicts of the 20th century. Like people, they also deserve our memory.